What's up, everyone, and welcome into episode number 560, where it is my honor and privilege to introduce a special guest during this episode, and that is Kelvin swimmer Kellen Morford. How are you doing, Kellen?
Fantastic.
Glad to hear that. How's things been going at school? I know you just wrapped up your swim season like about a couple weeks ago, probably at this point.
Yep.
How's things been going? Have you been able to relax, enjoy things, or are you already back in the pool?
I was back in the pool the Monday after conference.
Were you really?
I gave myself 1 day of rest and I got back to it.
Were you really? That usually most people are like, I'll give myself a week, I'll give myself 2 weeks, but you're like, no, no rest for me at all.
Yeah, no. I personally, I just don't, I hate the feeling of like just feeling sluggish in the water, like after you take a week off.
Yeah.
I love feeling strong in the water and the feeling of just feeling slow, I guess you could say. I hate it.
I was just going to
So
say, having conversations with swimmers in the past, like even if you're out of the water for like a week, like it takes you like a week or two to even get back to where you were prior to that.
yeah, my high school coach always said for swimming, because it's not something you do. Pretty much every other sport, like you walk every day or run or something. That translates to most other sports because most other sports are walking or running.
Yeah.
So for swimming, because how often are you in the pool when you're not exercising? It's not that often for me at least.
Yeah.
Um, it's like 2 weeks for every week you take off,
Exactly.
like for as far as the feeling goes. So I try and minimize that time as much as possible.
Okay.
I, s- I still like, I'm not doing a practice every day,
Yeah.
but I don't like taking breaks really.
And obviously, this is coming off of conference, you're tapered, stuff like that. So you're like kind of feeling the best you probably have in a long time. So you're kind of like, hey, what's the point of really kind of taking a break for the most part?
Um, I would debate that a little bit.
Okay.
um,
What's your thoughts on that then?
uh, Me personally, right after taper, I always feel kind of miserable. Um,
Okay. Interesting.
uh, I know we're going to talk about taper little bit later in this, but after taper for me, I've always like, especially for bigger meets like conference, it's a 4 day meet.
Yeah.
Um and like spring junior nationals last year, that was a 5 day meet. Uh After those meets, always feel, because you're just doing 3 or 4 swims a day and it
Exactly.
max effort. You get to the end and you feel sluggish,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. Obviously, like those meets, like those specific meets, like conference nationals as well, like you're giving it your all, like you're legitimately like maybe swimming, like you mentioned, once or twice a day, and like you're just giving your max out for 3 or 4 days consecutively. So at the same time, like you're tapered, but at the same time, like it's like you're just tired by the end of it.
Oh, oh yeah, for sure. Like completely. I've maybe had 1 or 2 times where I felt decent
Okay.
after my taper, but for the most part, I found that if you're not feeling bad after you're done with your taper, you didn't swim hard enough.
Yeah. Like you didn't obviously probably even get to where you wanted to even in the meet as well. Like if you don't swim hard enough, if you don't put the effort that you need to in that meet, I'm sure you're probably also not getting personal best. I'm sure that taper at the end of the day probably didn't go as well as you hoped for.
Yeah.
And I know obviously, like I mentioned, your season conference just wrapped up. That was your first college season. How did things go? And just kind of how did swimming kind of help lead you to eventually swimming at Kelvin?
Yeah, so I've been swimming, like I've been in a pool before I could walk, and competitive swimming as long as I can remember. I think my first year of swimming was when I was 5.
Okay.
Um and I know my brother looked at this place, Calvin, and he said the coach was great and everything. He didn't end up going here because he went to Carnegie Mellon,
Okay.
because he's an engineer and Carnegie Mellon's. it's a decent engineering school.
Yeah.
And but he told me about this place, and I was like, I'll check it out. And I talked to the coach. The team here, when I visited was incredible.
Yeah.
And we're also probably going to talk about this later. It seems like one big happy family, but um, it was I guess a mix of like my family kind of brought me here, I guess.
Okay.
Like my uncle's uncle was a professor here.
Oh,
Weird
was he really?
connection.
Okay.
Yes, he
Interesting.
was. And some of my mom's friends are professors here, and I don't know. I just know a decent number of people here,
Yeah.
and yeah. So all of that mixed with they've got a good computer science program.
Yeah.
So all of that kind of just together, kind of just like it was kind of everything I was looking for in a school.
Exactly.
Um, I wish it was a little bigger because my high school was already like 2,000 people.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it was a big high school. So
Yeah.
it, not much different going here, except it's in a college setting.
So you mentioned obviously like you kind of were thrown into the water before you could really even walk. You mentioned like swimming competitively at 5 years old. You mentioned your brother as well. Was there a history to swimming? I'm assuming like competitively, or were you kind of the first one that really kind of got it going? It's just you were kind of the one. I don't want to say you were kind of the test dummy, but you were kind of the one that was just thrown in, put into the sport.
No. So I'm a middle child. Um, my older brother and I we started a summer league,
Okay.
and when I was 5, he maybe started the year before me. I don't know, long time
Okay.
ago.
Yeah.
Um, but both of my parents swam. My dad actually swam at Hope,
Okay.
way back in the day, and my mom swam in high school as well. So they kind of just were like, summer league,
Yeah.
sign them up for that, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's how we got here.
So basically, ever since you're like 5 years old, like summer wasn't your typical summer. You probably didn't necessarily get a typical summer where you're sleeping in, stuff like that.
No, my mom made me go to practice 5 days a week. It was in the morning. It wasn't like an early morning practice. I think practice
Okay.
when I was 5 started probably, I want to say 9.
Oh, that's
So
not too
like
bad.
it wasn't bad. Obviously, it got worse as I got older, but
Yeah. What was it like swimming with your older brother from such a young age? I'm sure it was probably pretty fun, and I'm sure he was probably a big part of like kind of how you started to really enjoy the sport and really kind of started to take the sport more seriously.
oh yeah, for sure. My older brother has played a huge role in what like shaping my swimming, what's become today. Um, he's 2 years older than me, so like he when I was younger and like in middle school, I didn't really pay much attention to what he was doing.
Yeah.
He was his own swimmer, I was my own swimmer. But when we started swimming on a high school team together, like I ended up being on his relays. Like I want to say my sophomore year, we ended up getting to state together
Oh, that's
on a
awesome.
relay. And now that relay holds a couple of records at my
Okay.
school. And like he's still an impressive swimmer. And he he's always been there to give me a lot of motivation,
Yeah.
always a lot of encouragement after like a bad swim. But he's also helped me a ton with technique and training. Like right
Okay.
now in this off season, I don't really have like there's not a club I can swim with at the college right now.
Yeah.
So he's helping me out with like my lifting
Okay.
and my swimming workouts as well. And he's kind of always like he got uh, um he got first in a couple of events at Natty's last year.
Okay.
And that's always been kind of partially a driving factor
Yeah.
because my coach tells me, "Don't compare yourself to your brother. You two are two separate swimmers," and I'm well aware of that. But like,
Yeah.
I want to have more trophies than he does.
There's the competitive aspect of it, right? Like, obviously, you want him to be successful. I'm sure he wants you to be successful, but that's just kind of like the brother-brother relationship where I'm sure there's probably times where you've practiced together, or maybe you've like just gone swimming, and there's just kind of that competitive aspect where it's like, I just want to beat him. Like, let's run a 50, let's run 100 or something like that. And I'm sure there's probably points where he's gotten you. Have you ever gotten him on anything, or are you still trying to catch up to him that to this day?
um, I'm still trying to catch up to him to this day
Okay.
because as I said earlier, he's also swimming in D3 currently. He's a junior right now. And he's getting ready for nationals as we speak.
Yeah.
And I'm still nipping at his toes, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
He has just completely blown anyone's expectations out of the water,
Yeah.
especially when he got to college. Because if you ever want to, if you want to look at his times right now, he is a speedy boy. He's ranked top in the nation in some stuff. So I'm
Okay.
not quite there yet.
Yeah.
Maybe soon.
Yeah. Hey, and also this is something that's pretty new to you as well, though, because I know one thing that happened in high school towards the end of your high school journey is that really you started to make a switch away from distance because you used to be more towards distance, then you kind of made the switch to sprinting. How difficult was that? And is it still kind of a learn in progress to it? Because I know you mentioned like he's like really fast, but I'm sure he's probably been maybe doing his events longer than you have because of obviously like the switch that you've kind of gone through recently.
Yeah, he's had a couple years on me to learn his events. Yeah, so as you said, I started learning that I was a sprinter actually. Well, I'm more decided I was a sprinter.
Okay.
Um,
You're like, I'm done with this distance thing. I'm going to go with sprinting.
um, it, it could have gone either way
Okay.
because there was this one meet I swam in the off season. And I was like, I'll just swim 100 free for, fun, see how I do.
Yeah.
And I end up going a pretty fast time for me without really training,
Yeah.
um, uh, sprint at all. And, um, I was like, that's pretty good. And my coach is like, yeah, that's pretty good. We should probably train that a little bit.
Yeah.
And that was, I want to say, right before my junior year.
Okay.
Like right before my junior year swim season started. That is when that happened.
Yeah.
And then my junior year, I was placed a little bit more into like sprint positions and relays. And but I never like for my main events, I still swam the 200 and the 500, which are like the longest things in
Yeah.
high school um meets.
Yeah.
But it didn't really like occur to me that I would be swimming those as my main until partway through the summer last year, I want to
Okay.
say, because I just started thinking about it. I'm like, if I didn't train and I still went a fast time, imagine what would happen if I did start training
Exactly.
that. So I started training sprint, and I'm still learning. There's so
Yeah.
much to learn. it
Exactly.
it is a whole different beast, and there's two big things I love to say to piss off my roommate.
Okay.
He, because he's a distance swimmer.
Okay.
He he is a distance swimmer. He's a very good distance swimmer, but I love saying that he picked being distance because I still think you can. Most people, unless you have a very specific build, can pick between distance and sprint.
Okay.
It's just depend if you. pick the training. You can do either one. You just got to stick with that training.
Yeah.
So I would say that, and it pisses him off because like I can't choose to be a sprinter. I can't sprint. I'm like, sucks to suck, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost like he feels like he might be like stuck as like a distance swimmer, but you're like you don't have to be. You don't have to go through that pain. You don't have to swim a mile. You don't have to swim 500 yards. You can come join the 50, the 100. It obviously take a little while. It's a different type of training, but you're like come join my side. And he's like, no, I want to stay on like the dark side or something of that sort.
That it is pretty much like that. And while I agree, it might be hard for some people. It is very much like that. It would take some time. It would take a lot of practicing and a lot of work to become a sprinter. And for some people like him, he's just a gifted distance swimmer.
Yeah,
There's no point for that. He's doing well in his events if he keeps practicing.
exactly.
Um, uh, he'll do great in those going forward. It, it just makes him mad, and I,
Oh yeah.
I and I believe it, and I love to say it, and I love to rub it in.
You're like I'm doing 50s, I'm doing hundreds, I'm doing like 3, 4,000 yards, 5,000 yard practices, and he's over there doing 8, 9,000 yard practices. You're enjoying yourself. You probably maybe even get out of the pool a little bit sooner than the distance swimmers are. So you're having fun, and he's still in the pool.
Oh yeah, there's there's many days where my practice ends before anybody else's, and I
Yeah,
just walk past him in the pool, and he's like, just gives me the death stare. He's like, save me.
yeah. So I'm assuming no regrets. I'm assuming you don't miss distance at all. Or is there a little bit of a part of you where you're like, I wouldn't mind it every once in a while?
So with distance, for reference, my entire high school team was pretty much mostly train distance. We did a
Okay.
ton of yards, especially over Christmas break when most teams have like Hell Week or whatever.
Yeah.
But my coach had our entire high school team doing a lot of yards, and
Okay.
like it worked out.
Yeah.
I can't complain too much as to his coaching, but I I personally would love to just do really long and hard sets, and
Okay.
I would just love to be able to like kind of zone out
Yeah.
and swim. And I know not everybody's that way as far as distance swimming goes. Like I know not everybody can just zone out
Yeah.
and swim, but that's how I train distance, and I enjoyed it a lot. It was very nice to
Okay.
like just and occasionally I would focus back in. But the the longer sets and just being smoother. I don't know. In my
Yeah.
opinion, there's something to appreciate for both sides
Oh yeah.
of training. Um, and sometimes I am in my sprint practices, and I know distance swimmers are probably going to be like, "Why is he saying that? He's doing 6:25s on the 5 minutes." Like,
Yeah.
but no, I did enjoy some aspects of um distance training. It's like you love the pain a little bit, you
Yeah.
know? Like I personally enjoy the hard workouts sometimes. Like I love sweating. I love being tired. Like cuz I know that's making me better. At the moment it doesn't feel good,
Exactly.
but like the thought of the
Yeah.
future swims because of that is like yes.
Yeah. Like kind
And
of embracing the
and
suck a little bit.
yeah, but like in sprinting it is a little bit more difficult because like let me sprint to 25 real quick.
Yep.
Okay, take 2 minutes of rest. You're not tired anymore.
Yeah.
It, you don't get the same feeling after a distance practice as you do a sprint practice most of the time.
Yeah. You
So
meant
it's a back and forth.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You also mentioned obviously like in high school you started training kind of distance. That's just kind of what your coach had you guys do. You mentioned obviously Christmas break as well. Did you guys ever do, I don't want to say daunted, but did you guys ever do like the 100 by 100? So I know some people do. I know some teams don't. By your reaction, I feel like the answer is probably a yes.
Yes, my team every New Year's Eve, we had a 3 hour practice and it would be the hundreds, but the way my high school did it was the entire practice was hundreds. We're not just swimming hundreds on like 120 or something straight.
Okay.
It's hundreds, and there's like different sets within. And he also occasionally, what he normally did was it's like 10 100s for warm up, 30 100s for the preset,
Yeah.
and then 60 100s for main set.
Okay.
And then, but he would also throw like in between, like some rounds and stuff, there'd be like an extra 850s in there. So it was
Okay.
never a true straight hundreds. I feel like
Yeah.
if I did that, I would go insane. That sounds horrible and
Yeah.
so unbelievably boring. Um, but it still was just a long, grueling practice, and it ended up being closer to, I want to say, sometimes it was normally between 11 and 12,000 yards because of the extra things he slipped in there.
Yeah. Which is crazy, right? Like obviously like it's probably not the most fun thing in the world. I don't know exactly the practices that you had when you went back for Christmas break. I know some swimmers do that as well. And I've asked some swimmers like when they go back to their old high school in Christmas break for the first time, like sometimes those practices are even more difficult than the college ones. Did you have that experience at all? Did you go back or did you kind of train on your own for the most part?
No, I went back and trained with my high school because I didn't have a very good midseason.
Okay.
I did not swim well at my midseason meet. So I went back and trained with my high school because I'm like, this training I know I do well with.
Yeah.
So um I went back and I was dying. I had to go down a couple lanes from where I normally was to get a
Okay.
slower send off because I could not make some things
Yeah.
that I used to be able to make. It was I I would definitely say because I had done sprint an entire semester
Yeah.
and then I get over Christmas break, it is like pure distance training. It was really hard.
Yeah. It's just a different type of training, right? Like you're used to sprinting at that point, but you also understand it and has really experienced both sides of it. Like a lot of swimmers don't typically understand and experience the distance side of things and then the sprinting side of things. Like it's just kind of like a hard switch back and forth, and it's just kind of a different level of like mentality, but it's also a different level of like toll that it takes on you. Just talk a little bit about kind of what that transition was like, kind of going into sprint, just how different distance training is compared to sprint training.
Yeah, so obviously the sprint and distance training. Sprint, you're doing shorter, faster things. Distance, you're doing longer, slower things.
Yeah.
But for me, I want to say the hardest part of it was all the mentality stuff because,
Okay.
like, I know I can do the 10 100s on 105 per se.
Yeah.
I can do it, and it's hard physically, but mentally, it's not all that taxing.
Okay.
The for it gets taxing towards the end, but it's not like you're not pushing yourself. You're not pushing the limits of what you can do every time you
Exactly.
swim. With sprinting, ideally pushing your limits the entire time you swim, and
Exactly.
then sometimes for that day, I think it's hard because
Yeah.
certain days it's just not in the cards to even get close to your limit. Maybe you ate something bad for breakfast. Maybe your stomach's not feeling well. You had a hard lift the other day and everything's sore. You're not even getting close to your limit.
Yeah.
And then it's hard to practice. what sprinting actually is and then increase that limit
Yep.
because you're not actually getting to it. And it is hard, not as much physically because you're just doing short little bursts. So physically it's easy, but mentally pushing yourself to that
Yeah.
and then also mentally dealing with not getting there most of the time
Yeah.
is a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, not seeing a big drop in time either, because that's one thing that kind of happens in sprinting as well. Like you kind of have to be like almost perfect if you want to do well. Like you have to make sure like you hit the wall correctly. You have to make sure obviously your dive off the block is good. It's almost like there's so much less room for error when it comes to sprinting compared to distance. Obviously, like distance, you still want to make sure you hit the walls correctly, stuff like that. But like you can make up a little bit. If you're a sprinter and you're doing a 50 or a 100, especially a 50, if you're off by just a millisecond, like you're not going to win that race, especially at the college level.
Yeah, no, the requirement in sprinting versus distance is is also another thing that has been really difficult for me because if you make a mistake in like the beginning of your 500, you can make it up. Like
Yeah,
it's not that difficult to do. You just pick up your tempo a little bit for a 25 or something. You pull back to where you were. Maybe you're a little bit tired because of it, but it's fine. In sprinting, you don't even get the chance to do that,
yeah,
or most of the time you don't even really have the time to think about doing that. You just have to go
yeah,
uh, according to what you know because what my coach does, and I know a lot of other coaches do this well, they want you to plan out your race.
exactly.
So like for my 50, for my 100, they want me to know like how many strokes I'm taking every 25, how many strokes I'm uh taking out, going back, the stroke rate, how many breaths I'm taking, how many waters off the wall I'm taking off of every wall. You got to plan out the entire race,
Yep,
and you kind of just got to stick to it if nothing goes wrong because you know the next section
yeah,
of that race, like the next 25, if you execute that, it will be the fastest you can go.
exactly.
And if you start changing it, that's where you start getting into problems. And that's also part of the problem because
Yeah,
you don't get any time to adapt. There's no way to adapt really during a race. It's just go
yeah.
deal with what happened.
Yeah, basically, if you miss a wall, if the plan is out the door at that point, it's just you got 50, you got 25 more meters, and you get the time you get, right? Like, and you get the place you get. Like, there's nothing coming back from that.
Yeah. And that is definitely one thing I miss about distance swimming is just having to be able to be perfect every rep
Yeah,
and then doing it while like not breathing
yeah,
is so incredibly difficult. Like I had a buddy who at our midseason meet this year completely missed the wall. We were laughing at it after, like at the team dinner afterwards, and you just see him and his feet just barely, like his toes barely glaze the wall after he flips, and he just kind of sits there. It
yeah,
starts kicking, and he doesn't get a push off the wall. And that was in his 50,
yeah,
and it was like tough luck. You're not making it back to finals, or
yeah,
yeah, I can't stand that. But like, there's pros and cons to
yeah,
each thing here.
yeah,
Distance is a little more forgiving in the races where it is physically less forgiving
yeah,
in the practice side of things where the practice side of things sprint is more forgiving but once you get to the races it it's not forgiving at all.
exactly. Yeah, you kind of have to change your mindset. You kind of have to change your approach as well because if you're not quote unquote like a perfectionist, right? Being a sprinter kind of forces you to be that a little bit. Like it's not going to be perfect every single time, but if you want it to go well, if you want to get best time, it has to be as close to perfect as you can. I'm sure throughout every single race, that you do every single practice. There's things here and there that you want to switch. I'm sure, obviously, a big part of that, like you guys probably watch film, probably technique, stuff like that. Like that's just kind of part of it. But it's again about like not only technique, but it's about power as well.
Yeah, the and the power thing, the idea of power is little side tangent here. It can just mean so many things,
Yeah,
and it's just difficult, I guess you can say, because like you tell me that needs to be more powerful. Well, what does power look like? Does that mean a faster kick? Does that mean a harder push off the wall? Does that mean a dive farther off the start? Does that mean I throw my hands harder off the start?
yeah,
Does it, there's a whole list you can go through of like
exactly.
what does power look like in this instance, and then what does power look like in training?
Yeah.
And training, I kind of go insane every time somebody goes, "You need to train power." That's everything. Just tell me I need to train.
And obviously, like we've mentioned earlier, right? You're still learning, you're still like this is still pretty new. And obviously, like the more you do it, the more like comfortable you'll get. You also mentioned earlier about the fact that you have to do this all without breathing, right? Like for a 50, I'm sure you probably don't take a breath, or if you take one breath, I'm sure that's probably it. Maybe if you take one breath, you get yelled at. I don't necessarily know. I know some coaches do that. Obviously, 100's a little bit different, but like just like the mental and physical capacity to do it, like you have to be perfect and then you have to do it without breathing.
Yeah, the my coach does. He expects me to do a 50 without breathing,
Okay.
and I do. It hasn't happened yet, but if I did do a 50 with breathing, I would get yelled at.
Yeah. I'm sure most coaches would, if we're going to be completely honest with each other.
Yeah, no, that it's getting to the point where that's the bare minimum, and I'm not liking that.
Yeah.
But the I I would say swimming is the hardest sport out of any sport,
Agreed.
and because exercise, but also exercise without breathing, like that.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be breathing hard. Your body was humans weren't meant to be in the water. We don't have gills. We don't have the ability to hold our breath
Yeah.
for extended periods of time,
Exactly.
like some other animals are, like seals. They can hold their breath for 15 minutes or something.
Yeah.
We can't do that. It'd be cool if we could,
Yeah.
but
That'll make things easier for you.
oh yes, that would make everything so much easier.
Yeah.
But it's just hard, and it's even harder with that breathing. The breathing.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't know. I'm trying to think like a good comparisons for this. And there's just not really like
It's different, right?
it.
Like
It's so
there's no
different.
other sport like it. Like for there's is there like a single sport that you can think of that breathing is like optional? Like if you would say that for most people, like they'll think you're crazy. And even having this conversation, I'm sure if there's anyone listening that's not a swimmer, they might be asking you the question then, like, why even do it? Like, how do you find enjoyment in a sport that is just so difficult that like we're talking about, like there's probably more times where it sucks than it's fun.
Yeah, that is a fantastic question. Well, number one for me, I am not coordinated at all. Like anything that involves like hand-eye coordination, and that's not a repeated motion. Count me out, okay? Like if you ask me to play basketball, I will fall over myself
Okay.
dribbling the ball. Um, and I know there's still like running and stuff.
Yeah.
But like finding motivation in something so hard, I guess part of it is as a swimmer you can eat pretty much whatever you want.
True.
um and that's always a thing I look towards. I have a huge sweet tooth,
Do you,
and swimming just enables it even more.
yeah.
Um
What's your
so I
go-to
guess
thing for sweet tooth?
there's so many good things. After your conference, I bought a box of every single Little Debbie cake,
Love it. That's
and
great.
they're gone now. Um, I love Little Debbie cakes. I love Twizzlers,
Okay.
especially the filled Twizzlers. Fantastic.
They're they're great. I think I had one no, I had a wrestler on. I actually have a wrestler on that the episode is being released tomorrow. And I asked him about his first meal after conference because obviously in wrestling like they cut weight and like they can't eat very um bad stuff throughout the season. And he's basically like one of the first things was we went to the grocery store and I got like candy, and then after that, it was like I got this big burger at a restaurant, and he's like, it's the greatest feeling in the world, and I'm sure probably experiencing that after conference is the same exact thing as a swimmer.
Oh yeah, like the I want to say 2 months leading up for conference. Normally in the dining halls, I'm eating like if there's a dessert, I'm having at least one of it. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. Up leading up to conference, I don't think I really ate anything just unhealthy,
Okay.
and especially with my sweet tooth,
Yeah.
that was difficult. So that yes, that feeling of just like letting all the processed food back into your body, it's amazing. Like I
Yeah.
don't there's nothing it can be compared to. It's great. I
Yeah.
love food.
Yeah, and then swimming's like you mentioned, like a full body workout, right? Like you're fully like can eat anything that you truly want for the most part. Obviously, like what you mentioned earlier, you don't want to eat stuff that's too bad so that it doesn't like affect you, that you're not feeling good going into practice. Because I'm sure as a sprinter, if you're not feeling very good going in practice, that practice is going to be even worse than what distance probably would be.
Yeah. It for me, I some other people disagree with me on my team, but for me, I am very confident that what I eat it changes how I'm feeling for something.
Okay.
So, like if I um if there's something in the dining hall and I eat it and then at the next practice I feel great, I write down what that is and or I keep note of it because your food is what powers you. If
Exactly.
you give a gasoline powered car diesel, it's not gonna work. And same thing with your body,
Yeah.
whether you like it or not. You need the right stuff, the right amounts of it to perform well. And
Exactly.
especially as a sprinter where you want every single rep and every single chance you get to be the best, you need to constantly be at the best,
Yeah.
which is difficult.
Yeah. If you put good things in your body, you feel good, you're most likely going to perform well. It's not like a perfect science. It's not like a perfect, like, equal thing. Like, if you do this, this will happen. But it's much more likely that it's going to happen, especially if that's, like, specifically kind of what you found out about yourself, because every single person is different. Right? Like there's different things that work for every specific person. There's obviously like there's some people that are like superstitious where like they do specific things like before every race, like they might eat something specific, they might do like specific like step by step by step, or maybe before a race they like swimmers like UFC swimmers that will like slap their chest or something like that. Like there just different things for different people work for different reasons.
Yeah, and it's funny you bring up the superstitious side of things because me and a lot of other swimmers I know are very superstitious with pre-race routines, especially
Okay.
like for for me, you could my pre-race routine, I know it like the back of my hand. Like specifically for finals, I walk out of the ready room. I'm playing Power by Kanye. It's been playing for at least 1 minute,
Okay.
and I'm walking to behind the blocks. Um, as soon as I get over the blocks, I check where the wedge is. I take my parka, pants, and shoes off, leave the earbuds in, check the block again, start slapping myself. Like you'll see if anyone wants to go look. Um, my chest after most races is bright pink or red or something. I am especially one that likes to hit myself
Okay.
before races, gets the blood flowing,
Yeah.
and I like to beat myself up a lot doing that. I've actually after conferences this year, I had a little bit of bruising on my pecs
Oh, interesting.
because of that. Yeah, I maybe go a little overboard with it sometimes, but
It
it's
happens.
like it's the adrenaline.
Exactly.
And after I'm done hitting myself, I jump a little bit. I want normally it's in the space from 9 to 16 jumps. Very
Okay.
specific, but again,
Yeah.
superstitious. Take the earbuds out, smack the traps, and put my foot up on the block.
And
And
it's
that's
game time.
gotta be it every time.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's probably been a time or two, maybe in your past, maybe never, that like you've not done that step by step by step, and I'm sure that me a race probably didn't go as well as you hoped.
Yeah. And there's times I do it exactly and it doesn't go as well as I hope, but I'm still superstitious about it.
Hey, you know what? That's the thing that works for you. That's just kind of part of swimming. That's just kind of what truly makes a sport special. But another thing that makes the sport like really cool about it is obviously like the community, like the team. I want to talk a little bit about Kelvin because I know that obviously you've been there for a year. You guys also went on a training trip. I definitely want to talk a little bit about the training trip because I think that's a really cool opportunity. I also know those practices are usually a little bit harder as well. What is it like being on the team at Kelvin? Talk about like the community, talk about like the team in general, just kind of the cool things that you guys have gotten to do, like training trip, just kind of like traditions that you guys do that truly makes it kind of a really close team.
We do pretty much everything together. Like there's people you're better friends with, obviously. Like you've
Yeah,
got your close friends on the team, but I'm very confident I can just have a conversation with anybody on my team and it'll be a nice conversation. And
exactly.
it literally just comes down to like one big happy family, I guess. Like
Yeah,
sometimes there's the fights in between each other and like
yeah,
part of the family. But at the end of the day, we our team does pretty much everything together. We have like there's 4 tables at the dining hall. I can guarantee anytime I go to the dining hall that somebody from the swim team will be sitting at one of those tables. I can count on one hand, the number of times I've gone to the dining hall and sat at one of those tables and sat by myself this year.
yeah.
Like we are always hanging out together and like eating meals. We've got a Minecraft server going together
Oh,
where
I love that.
and we've got also got a little server where we play games like me and this other guy are building a really big castle
Okay.
on our Minecraft server. And like we just do everything together. Me
Yeah,
and like if a new show's coming out, we just put in the group chat. Anyone want to watch the show with me? And like
love it.
you'll get like 10 people be like, yeah, sure. Let me where and when
Exactly.
type of thing. And it just becomes like anything that you could do by yourself, it, you just invite somebody. It'll
Exactly.
be a group of people, and it's just like
Yeah,
it's just like the entire team is it's casual friendship. It's fantastic.
yeah,
Like I'm not trying to sound like an ad or something, but like the team is some of the best team chemistry I've ever seen, and that is talking about a big 100-person team. Like
yeah.
my high school, we had I want to say 30 people, boys and girls,
Okay.
and it had pretty good team chemistry.
Yeah,
I came to Calvin, I was just blown away. Like
yeah,
everyone is everyone knows everyone, everyone is nice to everyone, and it's a big team.
yeah.
It's a huge team, and it's just so cool to see that, and I feel like that helps a lot with like team camaraderie. Like
Yeah,
it's easier to say, "Come on, let's go get this. You're racing for us, not just racing for yourself."
yeah,
Because that like team, you swim on a team, but most of the time swimming is just an individual event. But that team togetherness helps you feel when you're racing like you're racing for more than just yourself. You're
yeah,
racing for points for everybody on the team,
yeah,
which like this past year, it very much was a conference. Like we needed every point we got.
yeah.
Didn't quite get there, which was fine. But you still had like the fighting, the extra motivation to go a little bit farther, and that was so cool.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what makes kind of embracing the suck, kind of going through what you guys go through a little bit easier. And that might be a big reason why like people do swimming so long is because of the community, because of the people, because of the team. Like if it was just by yourself, I'm sure you might never swim again. Like if it was just you just constantly swimming laps, like I'm sure they'll probably get to a point where you're like, I don't know if I want to do this, but like kind of being surrounded by like-minded people, being surrounded by a team that truly feels like a family, obviously really helps kind of get through those good days, but also helps get through those bad days or those difficult practices that you're probably wondering, one, why am I doing this to myself? And two, like, am I even supposed to be here?
Yeah, the community in swimming, like you said, is just so impressive. At
Yeah,
our conference meet, our greatest rivals, Hope, it, they're fantastic guys. I've got nothing but nice things to say about them.
yeah,
I don't think I've ever had a bad interaction with a single one of them. Like they are all nice people. And it's just
yeah,
a big community. While they are our rivals, they're still our friends.
yeah,
It because it's still like everyone helps everyone in
yeah,
swimming. I feel like it's a very like you don't have people like uh, dissing on each other or anything in swimming. It's like
yeah,
I'll have I had it was after the podium of one of my races, and I had a conversation with one of the Hope guys, like what we were working on in our race and stuff, and we were talking about stuff, and it's just like I've never personally done another sport,
yeah,
but I don't feel like it's common to come across that in other sports where somebody you were just in a competition with, you're just having a friendly conversation with them
yeah,
and like still talking about the sport.
exactly. Yeah, because that's not what typical rivalries are like in other sports, like especially football. If you want to talk about a rivalry in football, we can talk Michigan State, Michigan. We can talk Michigan, Ohio State. Like I'm sure they're probably not having joyful conversations ever with each other. But that's the thing that's kind of cool about swimming. But I also think that's the thing that's cool about the MIAA as well. Is I think the MIAA truly does a good job of, and this is no ad for the MIAA. I like the MIAA, but I'm not trying to give an ad to the MIAA either. But like, I feel like it's full of a lot of really good athletes, but full of like a lot of really good people that want to like help each other and that like yes there is that rivalry. I'm sure there's probably people on specific teams on every team that might not necessarily like each other, but like at the end of the day it's about helping each other. It's about kind of pushing each other to get better, and there's not a quote unquote rivalry where people like dislike each other. There's rivalries, right? Like Hope and Kelvin, for a lot of rivalries there's that there, but like it's about having that mutual respect between every team.
Yeah, that yeah, I would agree with that. Every team in the MIAA
Yeah.
like is good with that. I would agree with you that there.
And obviously, like you've experienced 1 year of that, you still have 3 more years of that. I'm sure you're really looking forward to the next couple of years, obviously getting better throughout the process. But before I kind of get into the next part, kind of ask the next questions, I do want to kind of go back to something you specifically said, put you on the hot seat a little bit. You mentioned a Minecraft server. Who's the best Minecraft player on that server, in your opinion?
In my opinion,
Yeah. Is it you? Are you going to say yourself?
I am not gonna say myself.
Okay.
Um, there are some people on that server, I'm not gonna say who,
Okay.
that I wonder how they have time for everything they do and then their classes.
Okay. It happens.
But there, there's, I don't think there's one single best player,
Okay.
but I would probably say like,
There's some good players.
um,
Pretty good players.
there's definitely some good players. There's actually a homeowners association
Is there
on
really?
our Minecraft. There's an entire homeowners association,
Are you a
and they
part of
have
it?
like, I am not a part of the homeowners association. That is too much work. I don't like
Okay.
homeowners associations.
Okay.
But they have done some very impressive builds. Um, and it is literally a homeowners association where like where
Yeah.
stuff has to get approved like by the HOA, and it is they
That's
have done
awesome.
some very impressive builds and stuff over there. I personally think for me we are taking the block game too seriously at that point, but
Hey, I actually wonder, like that's something like that server can go on forever. There's some people, there's some servers, there's some Minecraft servers that have been out there for years, and some of the stuff that people do is just incredible. And it's just another way for you guys to obviously connect, do stuff that you like, and obviously build something physically and mentally, or physically in the game and physically outside the game as well.
yeah, no, it it is definitely something that's pretty cool because the 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 just the thought of getting the swim team Minecraft server, which we have a lot of people participate on.
Yeah.
It and it's not just the boys side either. We got a ton of the girls um playing it. I think there were a lot of people playing it during the Thanksgiving,
Okay.
which was kind of funny.
Yeah.
um uh it is just it's just cool because it also requires more cooperation from a ton of people. Like
Exactly.
yeah, I just the I we actually had a recruit. We showed him the Minecraft server. And he's like, "Wow,
Yeah.
that's just that's so cool." It's like you guys actually like each other,
Yeah.
and it's not just that you're forced to spend time with each other.
Yeah.
It is really cool.
I was just going to say, you probably never thought on this podcast episode we'll be talking about Minecraft for the last like 5 minutes, but I think it's cool. I think it's cool what you guys do. And I think that just shows you a little bit of what the team is like overall.
Oh yeah, I definitely think it has something to speak to like the team as a whole.
Yeah,
But I also like the team as a whole, but then also the individual people that you meet. It just goes to show they're not putting up a front on the pool deck
yeah,
or when you have a recruit around. They're genuine people. They just want to hang out with each other and play Minecraft.
exactly. And wants to get
Yeah.
better swimming overall. And this is only your first year. Like I mentioned, you still have a couple more years left to go. I'm sure some of these teammates, some of these guys, some of these girls will be best friends for the rest of your life as well. You still have a while left to go. Obviously, the thing that sucks about every single year is teams change, right? Like there's people that graduate, there's new recruits that come in, but it's one of those things of like hopefully that continues. And I'm sure that it will.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it's gonna
Yeah,
continue, but um, yeah, the team to the team's changing part. It is, in my experience from my high school team, I guess, from college, it is hard, um, uh, losing people. Like, there's people I'm gonna miss next year on the team that's like they've been good, but they've also served their time.
yeah,
Um, yeah, And that's also a part of a good team. It has to learn to adapt.
Exactly.
A good team doesn't just stay where it is.
Yeah.
It gets better and wants other people that aren't on the team when it started or where it was at one point, but
Yep.
join to also get better.
Yeah.
And I think Calvin's team will do a pretty good job of that.
Yeah. And speaking of getting better, going through conference, going through your first year, what are things that you currently want to work on to improve on in the next few years to hopefully achieve some of your goals that you want to achieve, which I'm assuming is probably a conference championship, an appearance at nationals, all American. I'm sure you probably have a lot of big goals ahead of you that you want to achieve.
Yes, there is a lot of things that this season has taught me, and that is a great that is a very good question. There's a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. I try to at least come up with one good question throughout the through. I try my best to come up with one. As long as I come up with one, and the other ones are horrible, at least I and or get close to at least having one good question.
Not, I think you're pretty good at writing questions.
Appreciate it.
I want to, me personally, I want to lift more, a lot more. I feel like I know it's hard, like during the season, to get enough lifting in
Yeah.
because you have to bounce. There's only so much time in a week where you can
Exactly.
exercise and it be productive.
Yeah.
Because at some point you can start exercising and it's just like you're not doing reps very well. You're not doing the stroke pattern you want.
Yep.
There's only so much productive time you can get. And I, for me, I am going to definitely in this off season, I'm going to do some more lifting. Um, Try and get that great six pack I've always wanted.
Hey, there you go. That's a
Um,
great goal.
but also just focus on like swimming oriented lifting.
Yeah.
Like I wanna get bigger lats. I wanna get faster, like physically faster up and down on my squat because that's good for pushing off your walls.
Exactly.
Um I I want to work on my catch. Like my catch right now, it kind of sucks. Actually,
Okay.
it really sucks. um,
Okay.
we did some film review with my coach, and I was sitting there, and he's like, "Your kick looks great, but you're not pulling any water with your arms." And my arm was like, there was no bend in the elbows. My arm was just straight all throughout my catch. I was like,
Okay. You're like
"That's
that.
not good."
Yeah. You're like that's having to get fixed.
Yeah, I just saw that and like, add that to the to-do list.
Yeah.
Gonna have to tackle that. But that is a big one. I'm very much actively working on fixing that.
Okay.
Um, there's that. The general conditioning. I want to do a little bit more biking because yeah, cross training is very good,
Yeah.
and I personally I love biking. And I feel like I haven't gotten to do it as much as I would like to, so I'm gonna try and hop on the bike a little bit more.
Okay.
Um, and then there's also other little things like I wanna make sure I hit my protein goals. I
Yeah.
it's hard to in college dining hall get as much protein as the athlete should be getting, but that's something I want to work on more. Um, and maybe that involves a lot of supplements. Who knows?
Yeah.
Um, but that's another good thing I want to work on because sometimes I feel like nutrition, at least for me, just kind of gets thrown to the wayside, and that's something I need to hit.
Yeah, it's kind of finding that balance, kind of finding what works for you, kind of finding like ways to navigate it. And obviously, the longer you swim, the longer you're at Kelvin, the easier and more kind of game plan you'll truly kind of be able to figure out ways to navigate all of that to be successful.
Yeah, everything is a learning experience, in my opinion. Like
Yeah,
you can, there's always something to learn in a situation, even if it's horrible or something.
yeah,
There's something to learn, and it's just a matter of taking it and improving it, which is what I'm gonna do from this season. The
exactly.
season didn't necessarily go how I thought it would, but I learned a ton,
Yeah.
and now it's just a matter of applying that.
Yeah, sometimes you can learn the most from disappointment, and during that time, it's not fun. But sometimes, truly, the greatest growth can happen from maybe not going as well as you were hoping for.
Yeah, like you said, you can learn from the greatest disappointment. That reminds me of a book I read. What was the name of the book? It's called, what was it? It Takes What It Takes by Trevor Moawad,
Okay,
and he was brought in by like professional athletes to train the mental side of things.
okay,
And basically, one thing he really preached in that book was like learn what you can from everything.
yeah,
There's always something you can learn from an experience you've got.
yeah,
Take it and learn it.
yeah,
And that's what I've really been putting in and applying this season. Is like I didn't like how my midseason went. I didn't like how I swam at finals for my conference meet.
yeah,
How am I going to fix that? What
yeah,
were the problems that caused that? What things could I have done differently? Excuse me. And then how are we going to change that going forward?
exactly. Yeah, it just adds like a chip on your shoulder, right? Like just adds motivation, allows you to obviously learn from those things and want to shoot for a better season next year and next couple of years.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I've already like talked with my coach, like mentioned a couple things I want to do differently next year, and he's like, "Yep, it's all difficult because like
Yeah,
when you come at something with that perspective of learning, it's hard to apply it, but like because there's so much you can apply,
yeah,
but also it's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Makes
know
the
where I was going
journey
with that.
interest. No, absolutely. Makes the journey interesting. Obviously, there's always ups and downs to that journey, but it also makes everything worth it in the end if it all works out.
Yes, yes, it does, and that also like adds to another thing. If your season doesn't go well, and I don't know, I guess this is just general advice. If your season doesn't go well, you can be upset about it if you didn't try your best, because then that's something you did. But like for me, I can confidently say I was pushing myself as hard as I could in every practice. And every practice where I was supposed to be tired, I was tired.
Yeah,
And it like my season didn't go as well as I wanted it to. But I pushed myself and I was tired.
yeah,
So if you're tired, it counts.
yeah. Because the one thing you can control, right, is your effort. You can control how much time you can control how much effort you put into it. And swimming is one of those sports that truly like I don't want to say truly like success and failures depend on time, but it is, right? Like that's kind of how people really truly deem success or not is how fast you swim. And obviously, maybe it's not everything, right? But like if you win, like a lot of people say that's a successful season. And maybe you don't get the times you want, maybe that's not a successful season, even if you have small wins are there. But that's just kind of part of the sport is you're gonna have good times, you're gonna have bad times, you're gonna have ups and downs, but it's about trying to enjoy the process throughout it.
Yeah. And I feel like, at least for me, it is hard to just look at the times and turn that into everything.
Yeah,
And I definitely say I struggled with that this season. Like in the beginning of the season for sure, I'd like swim a 53, get out, look at the time, and you could the coaches could tell how I was going to come over and talk about that race depending on the time. And
yeah,
it got to the point where at the end of the season where it switched. It was just very much how the race went. I want to say in my Hope versus Calvin meet, I think I had the best 50 free of my season. Was nowhere close to the fastest time,
yeah,
but execution wise and swim wise, that was by far the best 50 free I swam,
yeah,
which it is it is just the thing that contributes to what's success, what's failure. And in
exactly.
swimming, I would like to see a lot more people stop thinking about the times as much, and I would like to see myself stop thinking about the times as much
Yeah,
and focus on the less objective stuff
yeah,
because the less objective stuff is the stuff that matters more to make the objective stuff better.
exactly.
That like that was a lot, but
Yeah,
like if you focus on how how was your kick depth? How did your turnover feel? Were your breaths like did you turn your head enough? All of that where it's more feeling. Like
yeah,
did the race feel good rather than was it fast?
yeah,
That that as a whole, um, for anybody stuck in the just worrying about their times state of mind can help a ton.
yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And obviously, that's going to be something that you're going to continue to work on. That's something that you're going to continue to get better on. It's also something that will hopefully, obviously, end up leading to faster times, leading to better results, leading to, again, hopefully achieving the dreams that you want to achieve. And I do truly hope you're able to achieve those goals. I know, obviously, you're still working towards those. You're putting in a ton of time and effort now to do that, and obviously getting ready for next year. But I really appreciate you joining the podcast, man. It's been a ton of fun kind of talking a little bit about just your swimming journey, just kind of how different college swimming is, but also what makes Kelvin Swim and Dive unique and special. And one thing I always say to anyone that ever joins is if you ever want to come back on, I would absolutely love to have you back on. No pressure whatsoever to do that, but maybe we can do this again in a year or two down the road. Maybe hopefully overall, hopefully things get closer to where you want to achieve. But I think you're going to achieve great things, and I really appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your day to join.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. I love to yap about swimming, and it was absolutely fantastic. There's there's not many people that you just talk their ear off about sports, and clearly we we found a special gem here.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I really appreciate your time. Best of luck in the off season. Best of luck next year. Best of luck in the next couple of years. But yeah, really appreciate you joining. And that is a wrap to episode number 560. Thank you again to Kellen for joining and tune in to the next episode.